Today, America, we're going to be talking about one thing, and that's how forgiveness conquers darkness. Now, let's have a conversation. I travel around the country and I help people dealing with traumatic issues. And one particular stop I went into a rape rehab facility. These were some young ladies who unfortunately were completely taken advantage of by some criminals. Their power was taken from them, and honestly, they felt like not even being able to go on anymore. Now, they didn't know who was coming to talk to them. They just knew somebody was coming, and then here I come, a 6'1" black dude walk in, and they looking at me like I'm crazy. They like, why are you here? We are rape victims. Why are you here? And before I can even say my name, before I can even sit down good, they was coming in at me. And they had every right. They were upset because they saw a man, and a man had violated them. So I sat there and I listened for about 10 minutes of every last one of them leaning in on me, telling them everything of why they've been hurt. And the one thing that I did, once they finished, I said, you know something, ladies? I understand. I understand everything that you said. And they said, YG, how you gonna understand us? You're 6'1", you're over 300 pounds, you're a power lifter. Nobody could take advantage of you. Nobody can hurt you. How in the world do you know what we feel? And I said, well, ladies, I wasn't always 6'1", 320-pound power lifter. I used to be an 11-year-old little boy who got raped at camp. Now, once I said that, the room got quiet and they sat down and they started listening. And I started telling them my story of why I understand what they're going through, because I shared in their darkness. I was also overcome with torment and despair. And a matter of fact, my pain lasted for 30 years. Now, I'm not going to dig into the details of exactly what happened to me, but let's just say this was a camp counselor that I trusted, and he was a religious man. He was a Catholic minister, and I saw him as a father figure. He knew about the issues I had at home. He knew I was coming from a broken home, an abusive home, and my father had abandoned the family, and he knew all these pertinent details. And he took me under his wing. He taught me how to fish. He taught me how to canoe. He taught me how to survive in the wilderness. But on the last day of camp, where he had my complete and utter trust, he lured me into a cabin and he raped me. And he did it while quoting Bible scriptures and said that if I ever told anybody, since God is everywhere, that he would dispatch his angels to wherever I am, and those angels will kill me and my mom in our sleep. So I told him, I said, ladies, trust me, I get it. I understand. I lived in fear of that wicked man for 30 years. His actions against me as a child turned my life upside down to the point where I honestly felt that my life was not worth living. I tried to kill myself 3 times, suffer from PTSD, depression, the whole 9, the whole traumatic cocktail. I drunk it, was intoxicated with it, and passed out with the pain. I completely get it. Now, after I talked to them for about 20 minutes, we all started to have an understanding that darkness will ruin your life. But I gave them one caveat. I said, there's one thing that can help you come up out this darkness and free you of this torment. And they said, YG, what is it? You tell me what it is, and I will do it because I'm sick and tired of hurting. I said, ladies, you got to forgive. And they looked at me like, what? I said, you have to forgive. And let me tell you why you have to forgive. And I know a lot of you, America, are looking at me right now like, YG, what in the world are you talking about? There's no way they need to be forgiving anybody that hurt them. Let me tell you why. Because the longer you carry this stuff, the longer that person has control of you and your life. Trust me, I lived it. I'm reliving the memories right now, and it's making me sweat. That's how intense it is. But I gave my life to Christ, and I understand everybody is not a Christian. I understand this. But I'm going to tell you what helped me to get over this. I gave my life to Christ one day as an adult. And this is after I had a stint of being homeless, after I tried to kill myself those 3 times, after all the ugliness was weighing me down and I felt like my life didn't matter. Nobody cared about me. And I was looking at my children that I was raising, and I got 7 babies. And I said to myself, am I going to allow my darkness to overtake my family? Because for a while, it did. And I broke my family because I was so consumed with the rage of what had happened to me that I couldn't think of anything else. Not being a good dad. Not being there for my children the way I needed to be. All I thought about was the rage. Now, once I forgave, and I don't mean forgive like, oh, this person can just get away with it. Because, ladies and gentlemen, in America, forgiveness is not for the person who hurt you. Forgiveness is used to free yourself of that person who hurt you. And I start telling them about my life, on how my life was changing once I gave my life to God and I forgave and I let it go. I gave it to Him. And it took a while. This was not overnight, but it took a while. And now I'm free. Now, I know this walk is not for everybody, but we prayed in that shelter. And those ladies surrounded me, and we prayed intently for Christ to come over their life and give them their power back. And the reason why I say this is because so many of us in this country are broken because people have taken our power and we are living in unforgiveness. And forgiving people is hard, but it is something that must be done because right now you're living your life covered in darkness. And you're looking for a way out. All of the anger and the pain has done nothing but allow that darkness to cover you more. But once you let it go and you give it to God, the darkness disperse. And you got to give it to him daily. One day leads to the next day, leads to the next week, leads to the next month, leads to the next year, leads to the next decade, leads to the next life that has been freed. Now, I can only tell you what I know. I can only tell you what has worked for me. But I tell you this, I so thank God that I'm free, because that wicked man no longer controls my life. He no longer has any power over me. And that's why I've dedicated the rest of my life to helping people who have been hurt in the church, whether it's the Catholic Church or the Protestant Church, whatever, but helping people around this country who have been hurt and allow them to understand the power of forgiveness. And I honestly believe if more people forgave more people, this country, this world would be a better place. So think about this. Who do you need to forgive in your life? Who do you need to ask forgiveness from? Because all of us are victims, but all of us are also tormentors. Forgiveness is the way to free your darkness. God bless you. God bless the United States of America. Forgive somebody today and stay safe. Peace.